and welcome back to our last episode of Hoods. I'm Jessica New. On today's episode of Hoods, we're going to be exploring Andersonville. Located on the westernmost tip of Edgewater, Andersonville has since its founding served as a haven for those who were different. People who, ignored or disrespected by the rest of Chicago, banded together in support of one another. To begin, we're going to watch a short segment exploring this neighborhood's early history. Then, we're going to examine the culture of Andersonville in the 20th century with a dramatic reading from Miss Elisheva Cohn about the culture of Andersonville today. Enjoy.
The history of Andersonville, Chicago's roots go all the way back to the 19th century. Andersonville was then a distant suburb of Chicago, but that didn't stop immigrant Swedish farmers from making their move. After the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, wooden homes were no longer allowed to be built in Chicago. It didn't take long for the main streets to be dominated by Swedish businesses, from delis to bakeries and many more. Swedes moved to the suburbs during the Depression, so the Andersonville neighborhood began to decline. The Uptown Clark Street Business Association revamped its commitment to its Swedish heritage by renaming itself the Andersonville Chamber of Commerce, restoring some of the lost heritage into the community. Andersonville is able to thrive in today's economy because its locally and family-owned businesses have become their staple.
The Swedish American Museum does a fantastic job of keeping Andersonville kind of grounded in its Swedish heritage. They offer tours of their permanent collection, which tells the story of Swedish immigration to the U.S. Our Swedish roots are definitely a part of Andersonville's charm. People visit Andersonville during the holiday season to enjoy the Swedish festivities and engage in their own heritage here. Even neighborhood residents that aren't Swedish really have a deep affection for the identity of Andersonville as a Swedish neighborhood. One of the main things about Andersonville that we offer is so many, just a concentration of locally owned and independent businesses. There are a lot of businesses here that you can't find in other neighborhoods because they're one of a kind. People credit the move of Women and Children First to Andersonville in about 1990 as a sign that the neighborhood was really becoming a welcoming place for gays and lesbians. They've traditionally kind of, over the years, moved up the lakefront. When Women and Children first opened in Lincoln Park, that was where a lot of the gay and lesbian culture was. The gay and lesbian population in Andersonville has definitely influenced the culture here. It's contributed to how accepting the neighborhood is of all different kinds of people. It's definitely also contributed to the business district here, as many gay and lesbian residents have opened up businesses that serve the whole neighborhood. Andersonville has remained vibrant and successful precisely because of our locally owned businesses. It makes us unique and helps us to remain a destination, both as a place that's desirable to live and also a place that people want to visit. One of my favorite things about Andersonville is that it really does have something for everyone. It's a great place to visit, whether for an afternoon or for several days, because there's so much to do. A lot of people also say that it has a very relaxed vibe, like a vacation town. Who wouldn't want to come hang out here and kind of soak in the vibes?
Welcome back. Here to read us a prose poetry and help us examine Andersonville's later history, here is Miss Elisheva Cohn.
How to Cure a Feminist by Kate Rakowski. Ever find a pretty lady at a bar, the type of look that screams of arm candy, the type of skin that longs to be unzipped, only to find out that she's an empowered woman? Well, no longer, man friend. Just follow these simple steps to cure your feminist. Step 1. Win her over. Do this by pretending you care about women. Example. Replace the word tits with the word equality and resume normal conversation. I love equality. I wish that women didn't have to hide their equality. I really want to snort cocaine off of some drunk girl's equality. Step 2. Open her eyes. Girls are basically designed to be brainwashed. It's how they became feminists in the first place. Too many strong-willed women in their past or something. Reverse this nasty little habit with subliminal messaging. Example. Place a tube of lipstick in your medicine cabinet. She will soon feel inadequate to the woman you are presumably cheating on her with. This will convince her, nay, force her, into acting like a more civilized, submissive girl. Step 3. Treat her right. Now let's not get crazy here. You don't actually have to treat her right. But if you buy her things while you quietly undermine her Ford Explorer and combat boots, she will start to think of this as positive reinforcement, like a dog. Soon, when you insult her, she will ask you to pick up the check. Step 4. Put her on a diet of cigarettes and hairspray until her waist is an apple core. Tell her she has never looked more ravishing. Step 5. Buy a trophy case. You will need a place to store her pelvic bone and the pre-notch bedpost. Step 6. Show her what you are capable of. Come home covered in another man's blood, dragging a chunk of his muscle in your mouth. Make her clean up the mess. Step 7. Build her a bomb shelter. Tell her the world is not wondering where she is. Fashion a dog collar around the broken glass. Lock her up like a good liquor. Step 8. Give her a new name. First whisper it in the crook of her neck until her muscles have committed it to memory. Then shout it in the belly of her bedroom until the echo haunts her sleep. Finally, scratch into her back while you do her, like branding your favorite ball gag. It is proof that nothing is sacred, that no backbone is too straight to be snapped into submission, that every layer of skin can be clawed off. Nothing before this matters. She never even existed without you.
We're going to take a short break and then we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Today is Saturday. Today is Saturday. Yeah. Salad on Saturday, fruit on Friday, throw a ball Thursday. Water Wednesday, touch your toes Tuesday. Let's move Monday, swap the snacks Sunday. All the healthy children eat well and move a lot. And move a lot. And move a lot. Eat well and move a lot. 60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. So keep them active and eating well every day. Skip a rope Saturday, freeze tag Friday, tap dance Thursday. Whole grains Wednesday, try a veggie Tuesday. Let's move Monday, split the sweet Sunday. Eat well and move a lot. Today is Saturday. Yeah. Today is Saturday. All the healthy children, all the healthy children. Get ideas. Get involved. Get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
Nice.
My name is Lynn Mooney. I've worked at Women and Children First for 6 years, most recently as store manager. We were initially recruited to this neighborhood by an early business group 25 years ago. We were looking to leave our previous location, which was actually our second location. But we were starting to grow out of that space and the rent was about to go up significantly. So we were definitely getting priced out of that neighborhood. And we were beginning to look, and Ann and Linda were kind of courted and recruited by this business group in Andersonville that was looking to turn Andersonville into a destination neighborhood. They saw a bookstore, in particular a bookstore with a track record and a following and a customer base, as being a great cornerstone for that neighborhood. Well, in the beginning for us, we really did only sell books by women. The vision was for there to be a place where the works of women could be readily available, appreciated, celebrated, at a time when it was not an ordinary thing for women writers to be published, to be readily available, to be showcased in stores. Both the original owners were part of the gay and lesbian community, as it would have then been identified. So no, that was absolutely part of the original scope of the store. As was the children's section. It was a brilliant happenstance that they had this sort of ethic from the beginning that when you address the needs of women, especially in the late 70s, early 80s, you also needed to address the needs of children because at that time especially, their fates were inextricably linked. Also, the work with children is just so critical to our future. That's always been part of the vision. And again, it's another way that Sarah and I think, are very lucky, building on the foundation that Ann and Linda started. Because it was so sound, it still makes sense today.
Welcome back. We have here with us Miss Elisheva Cohn to talk about the culture of Andersonville today. So, would you describe Andersonville as a woman-friendly neighborhood?
Absolutely. It's so welcoming and so inclusive to really anybody. No one feels excluded when you go there.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's great. I think that's a good environment for anybody to be in, really.
It really is.
Could you tell us a little bit about the history you know of there?
Sure. Well, in 1912 was really when the feminism movement started over there with the women's suffrage of Cook County. Okay. And then there were organizations toward the 1920s that started trying to be more active. There were organizations that tried to get the information about birth control out to women, which was a complete no back then. And there were actually organizations like the Parent Committee who tried to pass a law to make it illegal for this information to be passed out to women.
Wow.
So they organizations started to try and open their own clinics, but the Chicago Health Department would not give them licenses to do so.
Wow.
So physicians actually started to take it upon themselves to give out this information in their own offices to kind of fight and help give the democratic right to women, because they should know how to take care of themselves.
Right. So I mean, that's really neat that Andersonville kind of started that off, right? Oh my gosh. So I would like to take a step back and say great job on the poem reading.
Thank you.
It was wonderful.
Thank you.
So who was that by again?
That was by Kate Rakowski.
Is she a feminist or?
She's. I mean, I think most women are now.
Yes.
She's a very popular spoken word poet. That's one of her most well-known poems. So she is labeled as a feminist, which is good for her.
So it's safe to say she is like one of your inspirations, or?
In the feminist movement, I think she should be an inspiration for everyone, really.
Right. So jumping back to Chicago then, anything except for Andersonville, have you felt that people are very LGBT friendly in Chicago, or?
Actually, on my way here, I signed up with somebody who stopped me on the street for the nationwide LGBT organization to donate once a month to help students have an equal chance to gain the same education. There's been so many unfair challenges that the LGBT community has to go through as young people.
Right.
The rate for physical abuse for LGBT community members has gone up 60% in high school and lower. And so this organization is working to help that and give them equal chances to get where they should be allowed to get in life.
Well, it's a great cause you're donating to. You should feel
Thank
very
you.
proud about that. As far as your poetry goes, I hear that you may be doing something tomorrow night.
Yes, my Anatomies of Slam class, which is a poetry slam class, is having our final tomorrow night, which is a poetry slam. It's very competitive yet supportive. Everybody is, though we are competing against each other, supporting each other so much because we just want to see each other succeed.
Right.
It doesn't matter gender, race, ability, it doesn't matter. We just want to help each other succeed.
Oh, that's so exciting. It's such a nice
Tomorrow
environment
night
to be
at
in.
7 o'clock.
All right.
At Clubhouse.
All right, well, you guys heard it from her. Let's all go. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we explored one of Chicago's most fascinating neighborhoods, and thank you. I've been your host, Jessica New. Have a wonderful day.